mudroom area. Still talking. Yes, sir. That is the beauty. I'm walking through the house and talking.
Yeah, but it needs to have a little bit of reverb. A little bit of reverb to it. You don't have to get crazy. Just a little reverb. It just gets you out over the top.
You know, and then I walked back in here to the living room, and I was getting ready to sit down in the old recliner and grab my coffee cup, my thermos, and I was like, you know what? Here I am. I'm walking back out. You can hear the audio change because I'm in the, in the old kitchen here now, the galley. With the granite countertops and stuff causes a little bit of echo, kind of. So that's my reverb. We're opening up the old fridge here. We're going to grab ourselves a beverage. Shut that old fridge door. And we're walking back on through out of the kitchen here, through the dining room. Oh yeah, with a beverage in hand. Back here in the living room now. Oh, we're getting all over the place and still being able to talk. And if we weren't talking, we could still be listening. Oh, yeah. Let's see if this microphone will pick this sound up. Let's see here. Oh, nice can opening. Oh, that's wonderful. I can still hear that clown out there, barely out in the distance. Boy, you had him all wound up.
I liked it. I told while he's coming over, gonna break your nose, shove it up your bunghole, and gonna get a screwdriver and poke your eyeballs out. And he's gonna throw them down on the street, and they're gonna be rolling down the street like marbles. Oh my, just chop your legs off. Yeah, chop your legs off, put them in a gunny sack, put the rest of your body in a gunny sack and feed you to the hogs. And the only thing that's going to be left is hog poop. Pig poop. Ooh, acky. Nothing left but hog poop.
Could you imagine that guy being your neighbor? Oh my gosh.
He's probably all liquored up.
That's one of the most violent and evil people I've ever heard on the radio, man. I mean, you can just hear the devil in his voice. That guy is so screwed up.
Yeah. He doesn't sound like he wants to get involved with nobody. He's angry about something, and he's using the radio to vent his anger.
Oh, we've got some very, very nice American pickers on, man. Oh, yes. That's Wednesday for you. Nice pickers on the deal zone.
He's out there holding hands with Larry. He's going to do a combo deal with Larry, try to buy all Larry's radio equipment.
Blowout alert, paperwork time.
Oh boy.
Well, what was that guy's commissioned asking price on that 7,800? What was he wanting to get for it up there on the shelf? What was his commissioned asking price?
I think he wanted like $4,000 for it.
Oh, it didn't have a price on the tag or anything?
Well, HRO, you know, they put the price on it there, maybe higher than what he actually wanted, and 'cause they get their little commission, you know. It's all on It's there on consignment. It's like you put, a car out there on a used car lot on consignment, and you tell the dealer what you want for it, what your bottom line is, and then the dealer, they say, well, we're going to get a percentage of that, whatever they ask for, 20% or whatever it might be, and they handle all the paperwork and stuff, and they sell it to the customer, but they say it's not their car, they're selling it for so-and-so. And so if somebody wanted $3,000 for a car, then that consignment lot will say, oh, well, we think we can get more than $3,000. We're going to ask $3,800. So they instantly made $800, and then they go, okay, we sold your car for $3,000, and now we want our 20% of the $3,000. So they made $600 there, and the guy gets his $2,400, and they made $1,400.
Well, yeah, but that's if you've got the lot space to be putting those commissioned items. If you've got an item that you can mark up and make 50% on or 40% on, you're not going to move that out of the way to put something on there that you make a less amount. But yeah. But with the example you just gave, that would be 50% darn near, 45%. That's good. I'd do that if I was the seller, the person that was taking on a consignment. Yeah.
But see, they might not put a price tag on it. But they tell the people there, this is what we're going to ask for it. But nobody actually knows what the guy that owns it is wanting to get out of it, because let's say a guy walks in, and I work at HRO, and he says, hey, I've got this radio here I want to sell. HRO says, no, we don't buy radios, but we can sell it for you. What do you want to get out of it? And he says, well, I would like to get $3,000. And they say, okay, we'll get $3,000 for it, but we're getting a commission off of that. We're going to take 20%. We're going to take 20% from the $3,000. So you're going to end up with $2,400. And the guy says, okay, if you can get me $3,000, then I'll take the $2,400. Well, so they take it, they got it sitting there, but they don't put a price tag on it. They just wait for somebody to come in and show some interest, and then they go, you go, well, how much is that radio there? And they go, oh, it's $4,000. And, oh, no, So, you might say, well, oh, you want $4,000 for it. I'll tell you what, I'll give you $3,500. And they go, well, they might play the game a little bit and say, well, I don't know, blah, 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 and hem haul around. So then they might sell it to you for $3,500. Well, they already made a clean hit of $500. That's just right off the top. So now they call the customer and say, hey, we got your $3,000. The deal's already done. They got their $3,500. So they call the customer and say, we got your $3,000. He comes rushing down to get his money, and they go, here you go. Here's your $2,400. So they made $500 right off the top. Plus, they made another $600. They made $1,100 off that radio.
Yeah, but what if you buy it for $2,200?
Because if it sits there for a long time and nobody shows any interest, well, then they'll go, well, maybe we just want to move this thing on, you know. So then they call and they go, hey, Mr. Customer, Mr. Joe, whoever the hell his name is, you know, we got somebody here interested in this thing, but you know, this radio's been here now for 3 months, and well, nobody's showing any interest on it for $3,000. You know, we could probably get you, you know, what if we could get you like $2,500, or maybe, you know, or a little less? Would you be up to that? But now remember, if we get $2,500, we're going to still get our 20% commission. So, you know, we're going to get our $480 or whatever it would be, and you're going to get what's left. And the guy goes, oh, man, I don't know. That's kind of cheap. But then he gives in. He says, okay, yeah, I guess it's been sitting there a long time. I'll go for that. So, you know, how does he know? How does he actually know what they actually got for it? They might be conning him. I mean, because, you know, they don't have to tell him what they actually got for it because he's not there watching. And they do that with cars, too. A consignment lot. They do that because they can play around with the paperwork, even with the car, because they can sell it for a certain price and they can make dummy paperwork up and show the customer, well, here's what we sold it for, you know. Nobody, unless you are right there watching, you don't know for sure.
So they didn't get their markup then. If you got that for $2,200 and he wanted $4,000, then they're still getting their 20% or whatever off of the $2,200. But that guy, their markup, if he said he only wanted $2,500 for it, and they marked it up to $4,000 to make an extra $1,500, but they sold it for $2,200. Now their markup is gone that he wasn't going to get any part of, and then they just get lesser of 20% off of a lesser amount. Yeah.
Yeah, but they moved an item down the road that's been sitting there for like 3 months. They got it gone. It's gone, you know, and they made a little profit. Some profit's better than no profit. So, you know, they don't have any money invested in it. It's not like they bought the radio from the guy. They have zero money invested. So anything they make is all clear profit for them. So, you know, it's like, you know, when you go to buy something and you look at something and you go, you know, I don't really need that. I don't have to have it. I don't really care about it. And then the salesman comes up, starts talking to you and says, well, you know, are you interested in that? Oh, I don't know, maybe. You know, you show just a little bit of interest, and then they start talking money. Then you go, well, nah, I don't think so. And then you just, because you don't really want it, you just lowball them. And sometimes you're lucky. And sometimes things just happen.
So let's say they wanted 20%, and you got, say, that radio for $2,200. Well, 10% of $2,200 is $220. So that means they got $440 off of it. So that means that guy ended up only selling it for like $1,750 or $1,760 or whatever the hell it is. He got ripped.
Yeah, but they, you know, some people are just desperate. You know, there's people that when they need money, and they're desperate.
And then, if the radio comes with the box, Well, it's sitting out there as an open display, and the box is kept somewhere else in the back or behind the counter or whatever. So you're taking up 2 times the space, unless the radio is in the box. You're taking up the space to display the radio, and then you're taking up that same amount of real estate somewhere else to store the box and the goodies. So they want that thing out of there.
Well, you know, think about this. When the economy is really good out here and everybody's working and they're spending their money and they're going out and they're buying new things, whether it be a car, a radio, a TV, whatever they want to buy, you know, new furniture, whatever. So the economy's good. So, and you notice when the economy starts going down the shitter and people start getting laid off and they can't make ends meet and they got to have money because they still got bills to pay. So, hey, they get desperate and they start selling stuff. And, you know, they might start high with the price, but if the economy's bad, who the hell is going to buy it at a high retail price? Nobody. So it sits. I don't care what the item is, it's going to sit. So the owner needing money, he needs money, or she needs money, then they go, wow, they dropped the price down a little bit. And then you can watch this, you can watch it on Craigslist all the time. How they'll start high, and then you watch that item and watch it, and over a period of a month or two, you'll see the price drop 3 or 4 times. And then finally, I've done this periodically. I'll email these people and say, oh, let's say they got a radio and they want $300 for it. I'll email them and I'll say, you know what? I got $150 cash in my hand today. If you want that radio out of your hair, I can give you $150. And sometimes you can snag that stuff really cheap, especially when the economy's bad and they're not working, and they got bills and stuff that they got to pay, and it's not going to happen on every item, but every now and then you snag something.
Well, go back and buy it. Go back there and buy that thing, man.
for free, then he didn't really care what he paid for them, you know, because he didn't pay anything for them. But I don't know if I totally believe his story, but I mean, the serial numbers were on them, and usually, you know, if something's stolen, usually you don't get brackets with them. Usually you don't get all the power line, all the power cords, because they unplug them. They just unscrew the radio from the bracket. They leave the bracket in the vehicle. They leave the wiring there. They just grab the radio and run. Well, no, these radios had all the brackets. They had all the mics, and they had all the power cords, everything about them, you know. So I would maybe tend to believe his story.
Well, what about like remember the 7300 faceplate? Wasn't there like a faceplate or something that you bought, or just a head unit or something on no, not 73, but a 7000. Some guy had some 7000 faceplate.
Well, that was a long time ago. It was up on Mount Scott. I bought this radio off the guy. I can't remember what it was now. It was some kind of an icon. And he showed me. It was legit. He said, here's my band. Look at it. They tore the shit out of it. And he said, I can't remember now. Whether it was the radio or the faceplate or something, he was selling one or the other, and the thieves took the other part, and I think I bought the faceplate from him, if I remember, because he said they stole the radio, but he said I had the faceplate in the house, and he says they got the radio, but he says the damn faceplates are expensive. I said, yeah, and I bought it off of him, and I negotiated a deal with him, and, you know, he was happy, because he turned it over to his car insurance for theft, and they paid him off.
Yeah, wasn't it a 7000 faceplate, and you used it on your 706 Mark II G bass?
No, but I don't remember. It was one of either I bought the radio or I bought the faceplate. I don't remember. It's been too long ago. But the thieves only got away with one of them, so it didn't do them any good, basically.
No, I think it was that he had the faceplate, and then they stole the actual radio, the body of it, and then you sold that body to Conrad, and then I had a faceplate, and I sold the faceplate to Conrad.
I don't remember, but I know it worked out for me okay.
Yeah, it worked out for me too, I believe. I don't remember where I got that faceplate from. Probably from the guys that stole the faceplate off the guy's radio.
But the guy was legitimate. He showed me his van as they tore shit up, getting the radio out of there and that. And he said, my insurance company paid me off. I said, well, that's good.
Yeah, I had a faceplate on one. And I think I had a radio too with it, but the radio, somebody let the smoke out of it real bad, but the faceplate still worked. And I think I ended up selling that to Conrad because he had a radio that still had the smoke in it, but he didn't have a faceplate. I think that's the one he bought from you. So did you get to talk to that guy that owned that 7800, that Anytone 7800? Did you actually get to talk to him?
No, hell no.
Well, if you would have, you probably could have saved some time figuring out how to get the Roger beep and the echo on the 7800.
Yeah, built into the microphone. there playing music here?
I didn't hear anybody.
Somebody was playing music. We're playing it for, I don't know, 5-6 minutes. Wasn't that strong of a signal, but they were in there playing music.
Yeah, they were taking you out.
Were they?
Yeah. I don't know what they were hitting me at because I'm in the recliner, not in the radio room.
Well, you said you didn't hear them.
See how I do that? I don't always tell it like it is on the radio. You can't with these clowns.
I asked you if you heard the guy, whoever was playing music. You said no, you didn't hear any.
Yeah, but then I told you they took you out.
Well, then what is it? Why didn't you just say, yeah, I heard them?
Because I don't want to empower them, just like that 111 guy, the same way I handled all that stuff today.
That's not empowering them. Who gives a shit? Nobody gives a shit. I mean, if you hear them, you hear them. If you don't, you don't. Doesn't matter. Doesn't empower them because they figure they're blocking everybody's signal anyhow, but they better get a hell of a bigger amplifier than what they've got.
Well, the guy that jumps out of the bush and takes them out without anybody seeing, he gives a shit. But the guy that meets them at the front door and causes a scene with them, he don't give a shit.
Well, how about the guy, the two of them in the bar, and one guy pisses the other guy off, and so you're saying the other guy waits out in the bushes because he's pissed off. Why didn't, if he was in the bar with the guy and he was pissed off, why didn't he just fucking knock his fucking lights out right then and there and end it all? I mean, so what? I mean, just call the guy right there. You say, hey, dude, boom, how do you like this?
Well, because then the guy that he knocked out, who was the idiot, now he's no better than that guy by letting that guy steal his freedom by reacting to him. Instead, he acts like he was a little bitch about it and said, okay, and he left, even though he was mad. He held his tongue a little bit, and he left, and now he's gone. He's not even in the scenario anymore until he jumps out of the bush real quick, takes that loudmouth out that was in the bar, and leaves real quick, and nobody ever even knows it was him.
Yeah, but that's not how John Wayne would have do it. You're watching too damn many movies there. Too much TV shit. That's what they do on TV. They'll hide out in the bushes and wait for him. But that's not really reality. Reality is the guy pisses you off. If you don't like it, you just cold cock his ass right then and there. Or take a beer bottle and bust it over his head.
Yeah, well, that ended at about 1978 to 1982. You can't do that anymore. Now you got to be and it was like that back in the Old West, in the 20s, and the 40s, and the 60s, and into the 70s, and maybe a couple years into the 80s. But that's about when it ended, man. Then you had to just go and play like you're a little pussy, and go okay and leave, and then you go take them out in secret. And that's the new way.
Well, you know what? That wasn't happening back in the 60s and 70s either, because I know a guy. Because see, when you live back
that's
east,
what I just said. Oh boy!
Where I grew up was 18 years old, and the reason that all happened was because anybody that could get drafted into the military at 18, they put up a stink. They said, well, if you can draft me to go fight for this country, I should be able to drink alcohol if I want to. And so they brought it all up to a vote, and they passed it. But you couldn't drink whiskey, but you could drink beer and wine when you were 18 years old. So this buddy of mine, he was a couple years older than me. He was out in the bar, and they got, he wasn't a big, gigantic guy or anything, 10 foot tall or anything, but I guarantee he could hold his own. Well, they got some guy was all liquored up and just being an ass. Well, this guy that I knew, his name was Tom. He had a quart bottle of beer. He used to be able to go into some of these bars and stuff and buy a quart bottle of beer, okay, instead of just a 12-ounce beer. You know, so they buy a quart. Give me a quart of beer and a glass. And he was sitting there having his beer, sitting at a table, and this other guy was right behind him, mouthing off and this and that, and making fun of him for, I don't know what the whole story was about, too long ago. But I know one thing, Tom turned around, took that quart bottle of beer and busted it right over that guy's head. Fucked him up good, man. And they come and arrested him, and he was up for charges, man. He was scared.
Yep, that's the way it is anymore. Back in the day, you could get away with that kind of stuff, but you saw when it started to transition the other way. The old west died out, and now you gotta get them from the shadows.
But this was not the old west, man. This was like 1968, somewhere in there. 68, maybe 69. I don't remember the exact date. But I know it was right, and it was one of those 2 years, and yeah, he got arrested.
Okay, so going back to what you were saying, why don't you just clock somebody over the head and say the hell with you? And I said, well, that was the way you used to be able to get away with it, but you know, late 70s probably that started fading out, and you got to hide in the bushes and take them out now. But you're even going back before the late 70s. This was in the late 60s. You couldn't get away with doing what you said to do. So yeah, there you go. You're fighting my case for me.
See, if he's taking me out, then what that means is that he's in between you and me. Because if he was on my side of the river, then his signal would be stronger. And if he was closer to you, his signal would be stronger. So what that's telling me, he's in between you and I.
Yeah, I don't know. I wasn't looking at my meter because I'm in the other room. But he was keying up. Last time I looked, you were hitting me at 5S units when I was in the other room. So he's got to be coming in more than 5S units, but hell, I ain't getting up out of my chair to go look.
Right. So he's in between us. Oh, well, we'll get right over top of him. No problem whatsoever.
Well, all you got to do is turn on your echo. Once you turn on your echo, man, there ain't nothing going to stop you.
Well, I have it on, but I don't have it cranked up. He ain't covering me up now, I guarantee it. He ain't covering me up.
No, I can barely hear him, though, too. His signal must have dropped way off as well. But, yeah, just pump her up, and you can take him out. No problem. No problem.
And see, he could be in a mobile, too. There's people out there in mobiles running around, you know, and all they want to do is just stir up shit, you know. They want to stir up trouble.
Oh, I know he's in a mobile. I could tell that from not even being in front of my radio. Yeah, that was a given.
You can tell that when their signal starts to fluttering.
Well, yeah, if there's no DX and their signal's fluctuating, or their signal's fluctuating, I know they're in a mobile. Yeah, ain't no DX. Either that or they're smart and they sit on a base and they turn their RF power up and down as they're talking.
Well, it doesn't matter. They aren't getting the job done, so it doesn't matter.
Without a doubt. I wish you were too.
Well, sometimes you have to kick stuff into overdrive to get over the idiots. Yeah, maybe like you, huh?
Sometimes you gotta be on frequency to get the job done. You gotta be on frequency.
Well, I wasn't even going to say anything about that because let them think that they're doing whatever they do there. But first off, you got to be able to understand what they're saying. Takes all kind in this world, you know, all kinds. See, that's why that's why Don says he didn't want to own an amplifier. Yeah, and I understand why he's saying that.
Who the hell is Don?
Your buddy, old Don. Are you got it on, Don? Got it on?
Oh, he don't talk on the radio no more, man. He threw in the towel.
Oh, I don't know. Who knows? But it doesn't matter whether he talks on the radio right now or not. But he's the one that said, you know, he said, no, I don't want to own an amplifier because it'll just get you in trouble. And because it brings attention to your station. Because when you got an amplifier in a confined area where you got a lot of radio operators, you're going to bleed over on them. It's impossible not to. It just is the way it works. So, from that standpoint, Don is absolutely 100% correct.
No, he threw in the towel, man. He don't talk on the radio no more. He threw in the towel like, I don't know, 4 months ago or something like that. I got all his gear, man, $200, everything, and he had a lot of stuff. I got a lot of stuff from him, man. He was fed up. He was sick and tired of it.
You must be hallucinating.
Hey, JT, did he get in trouble? He said the heck with it, man. He's out of there. He's done with radio. No more. Did he get in trouble or something? $200, man. Bunch of VHF, UHF stuff, a 9100 ICOM, TS2000 Kenwood, bunch of meters, bunch of dual banders. Oh, man, yeah, big time.
Nope. Yeah, you couldn't make me believe that if you were standing on 1,000 Bibles.
Smoking right in the middle, running a radio.
Oh, here she comes. Look out, boy, she'll chew you up. Oh, here she comes. She's a man-eater.
Didn't want the antennas, though. They're all still there. You could probably go and get all those antennas and stuff, a hex beam, and a bunch of other ones for like, I think you wanted like $25 or something like that for all the antennas and rotors and stuff.
Oh, boy. if you are just running, somewhat normal wattage, and you're not bringing attention to yourself, nobody's going to, throw music or carriers or whatever. But you kick an amp on, and then as many stations that there are in this area, you're going to bleed over on them. It's impossible not to. I mean, they bleed over on mine, so I don't go hunting them, because I don't care. I just deal with it. But sometimes, they use these cheap radios with no filtering, and they're really easy to bleed over on.
Yeah, what am I doing here? About a peak of maybe 50 watts. About a nice little modulated level of maybe 40, 35, 40, 45.
Peak 50 if I'm really into it.
But I'm telling you, that other character that you just named his name, he's like a snake in the grass. Approach with caution.
Yeah, this is a nice little frequency here. It's nice and quaint. And I can talk down here in this microphone. 20 watts, maybe peaks at maybe 20 to 50. But just kind of talk off to the side here, and I ain't doing much. I'm probably only coming in on your meter about 3 to 5 excellence, just that.
Unless I talk right up into it there. Oh yeah, 60, 70 watts. Talk right into it. But just talk down here and it's, 20 or 30 watts, nice and quiet.
Yeah, you need to talk into it because your modulation falls way off. But I'll tell you, that guy that you mentioned there earlier, I'm not going to say the name again, he's kind of like that other BZI character there on 75 meters. He sit there and patrolling the band, listening to everybody's conversation, going to report you to the FCC for not using your call sign, any of this kind of stuff. He's just like a snake in the grass. And then when he jumps right into your conversation, and it wasn't invited, he just jumps in and tries to take over, and then starts asking all kinds of questions. Don't play into that guy's hand. And it's just like the guy you just mentioned. He does the same thing. It tells you, tells you all this stuff, feels you out, gets information out of you. And nope. Same type of guy.
Oh well, no biggie.
No, it's not. But you got to know, you got to understand when you're looking at a rattlesnake, it's a freaking rattlesnake. So avoid the rattlesnake. Don't stand around waiting for him to bite you.
I sure like American Pickers, man. I tell you, what a fun show to watch. I can watch the same episodes, man. See the same episodes same ones in a week. It's still good. I love it.
I think I've watched every American Picker there is. But yeah, it doesn't hurt. Sometimes you forget and you go back and watch some of that old stuff and you go, oh, yeah. You'll remember parts of it, but you don't remember it all.
Yeah, I still see a lot of them that I've never seen before, to be honest with you. And I thought I saw them all, but there's tons I haven't seen. But I'll tell you one that's on the Roku is they have their own channel, and that's the Antiques Roadshow. and they've been on for 30 years, dude. And I tell you what, I could probably watch the Antiques Roadshow channel for years and not see all the episodes, man. Then they have the Antiques Roadshow UK, okay, the one from England, and that was on way before the American one, and they have their own channel. You could watch Antiques Roadshow constantly and not see the same episode that you've ever seen before.
See, there's a bunch of those type of channels. There's Freebie with a B, like Victor. There's Freebie. It comes on your Fire Stick. There's Tubi. There's Crackle. And there's a bunch more. But I don't watch a lot of those. But Lynn does, because you can go in and you can go into their, and they're free. You don't have to subscribe to anything as long as you have internet. And they're free, and you don't pay anything for them whatsoever. But they have commercials, so you can go in there and you can look into what categories they have, and you can go in and say, I want to watch this or that, and see if they have it. And Lynn does that all the time. She's always coming up with something that, oh yeah, look at this, you can watch the whole series here.
You know, one I haven't seen in a while is the old boys from where she's from. It's that Dickerin show. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, the one they would use. They go down to the market and get one of those papers with all the ads and stuff, and they go out and try to buy things and wheel and deal.
Yeah, they're from Maine or wherever the hell she's from. But that's a great show, man. I haven't seen that in a long time, but I like that show. That was fun.
Yeah, I've seen it. And another show they have is something about they're building. They go out in the wilderness and stuff, which isn't hard to do, and they rebuild all these old camps. Can't remember what it's called, but that's on YouTube, though, and she watches that main cabin building or something like that. But they got a crew that'll go out, and somebody owns an old camp that's all dilapidated, and they need it updated, and they'll hire this crew. There's a guy and his wife and a couple other guys, and they go in there and they totally rebuild the place.
Oh, like the Cabin Masters?
Yeah, I think that's what it's called. Could be. It's all up in Maine.
Yeah, that's a good one. There's all sorts of them like that, man. There's the ones that go in and they take all the old barns down, and old buildings and the timbers, and they rebuild them with different stuff. They salvage all those old hand-hewn timbers from old barns and this and that, and then they rebuild them in different places.
Yep. I'm looking on my phone here because I had a bunch of those TV channels on here. I mean, you can put them. They're just apps. You can get them off of your phone. Go into your app store, and you can get those TV apps and put them on your phone. Tubi's one of them, and Freebie, and Crackle. I know those three right off the top. And they play all that old-time stuff.
Well, and then there's one that you can get, and you just go on the internet, whether it be on your phone, your laptop, or your tablet, or whatever, and it's called Crackstream. That's where I saw the Tyson fight. But you can watch all the pay-per-view UFCs, all the pay-per-view wrestlings, all the pay-per-view, anything pay-per-view, man. Sporting events, football games that are out of your district or whatever, everything sports, and it's called Crack Stream.
Yeah, but it's not up to date right to the same week that you're watching a game or something.
Bull crap, it's live, man. It's live. I watched the Tyson fight live. Any of the UFC events, the pay-per-views or whatever, it's real time, man. It's live. Football games that are out of conference or not in your area that you can't normally see, that you don't have the network or the channel, free. It's right there, live, real time. WrestleMania, everything, man. Anything sports that's out of your area network stuff, it's all on there, man.
What's the name of it? Right, spell it out.
Like crack, like you're smoking crack. Crack Stream. Crack Stream. Crack Stream. You go on there, just Google it, Crack Stream, and go onto there, and it'll have all the sections. It'll have UFC, it'll have hockey, it'll have basketball, football, everything on there, and it shows you what all's available and when it's going to play, and you just click on it when it's on, and it'll send you somewhere else. You have to back arrow one time and then click on it again, and then it takes you in real time. Crack Stream.
Crack, C-R-A-C-K, stream, like S-T-R-E-A-M?
Yeah, one word, Crack Stream. Yep, it's good, man. I mean, that's what all the kids use. I heard it from my buddy's son, and yeah, it's the real deal.
Let's see if I can get it on my phone.
The only weird thing is when you click on one of the sporting events that's on, it takes you into like some kind of like a promotional or an advertisement, and then you have to back arrow and go back to where you were just at, and then click it again, and then it takes you into it. But then it ends up taking you over and sending you to Meth Stream. That's the thing that kind of got me. I was like, what the hell is this? It's called Crack Stream, and then they send you over to Meth Stream. I was like, whoa, this is weird, but everybody uses it, and it works, man. I never had no problems with it. Well, you can watch stuff like real time.
Okay, I got it up on my phone to Google, Crack Stream. It's saying NCAA college basketball, basketball live schedule, March Madness, soccer, NFL. Let's see. So now, if I was to click on that, NFL streams, click to view all games. Okay? I just did it. NFL Network and Red Zone, live streams and schedule. So if I go to NFL Stream, watch now, let's see what it comes up with. NBA Stream, MLB, It doesn't, you gotta navigate yourself through it. It can be a pain in the ass.
Yeah, once you get it down, plus you're at the wrong time of day to be going on there because there's nothing on. You want to go on when it's super busy with lots of live stuff going on or pay-per-views going on. And it'll come up with all those red boxes. It'll say UFC, MMA, basketball, blah, blah, blah. You can click on them and it takes you to all the different stuff. But then when you click on what you want to watch, it will send you to like a commercial or some kind of a promotional thing. And that's where people get fouled up. You got to back arrow out of that one time, then it'll take you back again to where you were just at, and then you got to click on it one more time, and then it will take you to the actual live event.
Yeah, I'll have to sit there and play with it on a Sunday.
Yeah, I think it'll impress you. Or if you ever see any kind of a pay-per-view fight coming up for US MMA or some kind of thing, or just anything like that, man, or an out-of-market race that you want to watch that you normally wouldn't get, or an out-of-market football game, you can get it all, dude. Everything.
I'm going to go to my Play Store on Google and see if they have an app for that.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I don't know anything about putting an app of it on there. Everybody I know just goes straight online. That way it's, you can go into it and you can get right out of it if you need to. But yeah, maybe they have an app. I don't know. But as far as I know, it's just a website. I don't know if I'd want to download it as an app on my phone, to be honest with you.
Yeah, because you can get into some deep, dark territory.
Yeah, it's better just to use it as a website, man, and go that route, to be honest, I think. That's my gut feeling. But it works. It does. But everybody I know just goes to the address, types it into their search bar, and uses it that way.
Yeah, I'll check it out on a Sunday.
So, hey, you know how that one other is called Jamaica?
Jamaica? No, what about it?
Well, you know how that's Jamaica, right?
I'm not following.
You know how that one is called Jamaica?
The frequency?
Yes.
Yeah, the frequency, correct?
Right, so if we talk about here, we'll say last night. We'll call it last night.
Or just go to Jamaica.
Yeah, and this one's called last night.
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. Go to last night.
There you go. I just wanted to get into it too deep, so if the other guys were, had their ears on it, you know what I mean? Anyways, yeah, that's the sneaker. That's the sneaker.
Well, the sneaker is, now, see, we've been sitting here now for what, 5 minutes or more, and no issues. No neighbors, no in-between guy throwing music carriers. But I guarantee you, if we turned our amplifiers on, they'd be on us like flies on you-know-what.
Oh, the peanut gallery's already out there. You can bet on that, dude. There's no doubt about it. I mean, I'm not putting it past them for nothing.
Yeah, but I don't mind the peanut gallery. I'm talking the ones that just want to, they're just there to disrupt and cause trouble. You know what I'm saying? So, if you don't run an amplifier, you're not bringing attention to yourself. So, if you turn your amplifier on and you you bleed over a little bit, that's bringing attention to yourself. And then you're going to draw all these flakes. See, that's what Don was talking about. That was why he said, I don't really care to own an amplifier.
Well, amplifier or not, people have spectrum scopes. So even with us up here running this, The people that were down there that were attracted to amplificators have already come up here and I've been listening. So it doesn't matter. It's all the same.
Yeah, but a lot of those guys, they don't run amateur equipment. They don't really like it because it doesn't talk on AM like they like. They want those loud and obnoxious AM radios. And 90% of those guys, they hang out on AM. So, but Dawn's correct when it comes to the 11 meter band. But if you're on the amateur bands, yeah, I see no reason why you shouldn't have an amplifier. Because on most of those bands, you're not going to get out very well if you don't have an amplifier. You're going to get out very well if you don't have an amplifier. Right. You're going to get out very well if you don't have an amplifier. Well, it's okay. So you record it. Big deal. Your radio sounds pretty good, doesn't it? So what do you think there, 188?
California, K4RVN.
KE7IR.
Period. 200 miles, but you know, the short one was and
Stay healthy and God bless. Merry Christmas. 73. Make sure that if I need to come to your log book, then you let me know, okay?
A mí me gusta algo natural.
Siempre si tú no tienes nada que hablar ni que aportar, pues uno no dice nada, uno se queda callado y levanta la mano cuando le quiera hablar, ¿sabes? Todos.
If we've talked before or not. If we did, I've forgotten. And let's see, everybody is 5'9" plus 20. Frank, sometimes you jump up to about 22, and Doug, you're sometimes about around 18, touching 20, but pretty much everybody is very strong this evening. So making it easy for me to hear. Thank you so much. Had a good day here today. Got outside and did a little bit of painting on the, I think you call it the fascia. Basically the part of the roof that's right underneath where the roof ends and the wall begins. And, yeah, my son John had replaced some of that for me that had rotted away with the years. And so before we had some rain here, I thought I better get some paint on it. So that was my activity for today, along with making some scones. And I'll tell you more about that later, because I know, Frank, you'd love hearing about my cooking adventures. So with that, I'll send it back to you, Frank, K4RVN. Oh, and by the way, thanks for the text. Let me know you were here. KE7IR.
KE7IR in the group, K4RVN. Well, glad to hear you, Patty. I'm glad you could make it. And you're a 10 to 15 over. You're 15 over. So no problem. The band is in horrible shape. Lots of noise over here. And looking at it on the scope, it's a lot of noise. Anyway, good to hear you. Boy, I tell you what, I can't get over all the energy you have. Get out there and paint the fascia board on the ladder. Boy, you need to stay off ladders. I got my neighbor to come down and replace my bulb on my dusk to dawn security light. I could have done it. I had a ladder and everything, and I said, I am not getting on that ladder. So I listened to it. Everybody told me to stay off ladders. Dwayne, I am 91. I'll be 92 in 3 months if I make it. So I've had a few mishaps on ladders, so I need to stay off. Anyway, glad you could join us there, Dwayne, and I'll turn her back to you. Let's see. No, I need to turn it to Doug, I think. WT6R K4RVN.
I'm going to think what that security light will look like. Maybe that. Anyway, yeah, Patty. Jones, yeah, I got to hear this. I need to take something. I've been buying too much junk food on my own for years. And Patty, you were 5'9" plus 5 the last time I heard you. Hopefully the band doesn't drop right out from under us like it normally does. And you know what I mean? I know what it is, but I actually replaced several sections of it with, I was able to find the same size, but I bought it in, I think it was, I want to say it's polyethylene. It's some kind of plastic board. It's board that's not really made out of wood, because I know it wouldn't last. Before I put them up, I let them dry a bit, and then I put them up there. So I try to, as you say, work smart. Let me send it over to you.
Hey, Jay, how are you?
Whiskey Tango 6 radio in the group, Kilo Delta 6 Alpha Fox. Wow, yeah. I'm a little bit younger than you, but I don't like getting up on ladders. I actually haven't been on ladders in years until we moved here. And so I wanted to put up my 17-meter dipole, which I think is the 10 years. So I did 2 years, and then I got the Super Bowl TV, which has I'm going to hold on for a while. Maybe I can call one of your friends. Tremendous. We all want to know more about your scones. Patty, so let me get back to you. KE7IR in the group. Kilo Delta 6 Alpha Fox.
Oh, thank you, Dwayne. Did I hear Bobby out there? Oh, boy, I've got ears, don't I? Why don't you take one, Bobby, and then I'll tell everybody about the scones.
Okay, well, I just want to say hello right quick. I heard Doug and Frank and this other guy. I met the pleasure, but I remember everybody sounded good there. And I heard Frank a while ago working a couple of the stations. I'm not but after I got done with him, but then I worked for Raleigh down on 135 when I go Don. Don's coming in pretty good for Malawi too. 70 Quebec Creek Smack there, good.
Well, I'll have to take a look at that in a little bit. Thanks for letting me know, Bobby. I follow you all over the place on DX Summit. Yep, I pretty much know if you're active or not if I see your call letters up there. Well, good hearing you tonight, Bobby, and if I missed you before Christmas, Merry Christmas.
I don't think we don't miss each other. We'll be there. And everybody else should be off too, but we can all be on Merry Christmas Eve, right, girl?
Oh, that sounds good. I'll have a house full on Christmas Eve, so maybe the day before that. But anyway, good hearing you as always.
Yes, ma'am, likewise. Whoever's supposed to pick it up, go ahead. I think you said you're going to tell a story, wouldn't you? Go ahead.
Yeah, I made scones today, and the funny thing is I got the recipe out that I got from my mother-in-law. God rest her soul, she's been gone since 2008. And when she gave it to me, she required me to write on the recipe that I was not allowed to share this with anyone. It was a deep, dark secret. Now, I know that it's not a deep, dark secret because there's nothing really that interesting about the recipe. It's pretty standard. But I did have to buy currants. Do you know what currants are? I'll see if you guys do, but they're kind of like little tiny raisins. And I ordered them from the store, and they ended up getting shipped to me. And once I received them, I had to soak them for a couple of hours in water to plump them back up again. And anyway, the scones are very, very similar in texture to biscuits. So if you've ever made biscuits, you know that you have to cut the shortening into the flour, and there's quite a lot of baking soda in to make the fluffiness of the biscuit. And you try not to work them too much once you put the liquid in, because if you do, they get too hard. But anyway, long story short, they turned out really well, and I've been trying not to eat too many of them. I wish you were here. I'd give you a plate full, and you'd enjoy them, I think. Over to, where do I go? Let me think. I think this goes to Frank. K4RVN, this is KE7IR.
KE7IR, K4RVN. Well, thank you, Betty. And, yeah, if you can, send me that recipe either by email or text, either one. And I'd sure like to look it over. I'm not sure I'm able to do that. I never have made a biscuit in my life. Anyway, Bobby, hello to you. I had to switch to my bill antenna to copy you, but I could copy you on my bill antenna. Yeah, I heard you say hello. And I asked Fetty how did he pronounce his name, and he said Fetty, like we've been calling him Fetty, not Feedy. He does spell it like it's Feedy, but it's F-E-D-Y, Fetty. That's how he pronounces it. Anyway, I was just 20, 25 over with old Fetty over in Bulgaria, so those of you that remember me putting up a 4-element wire beam to Europe, you know it's working well. I do, and I'm really enjoying it. In fact, I stayed up to 2 or 3 o'clock last night working Europe. I didn't hear Bill tonight, Eddie, and Doug didn't either, evidently. So I guess the band is just so noisy. I'm telling you, I he's got problems over there. But I didn't see any QSOs hardly. I see a few now, but I didn't see many when I first got on here. It was terrible. Anyway, let's see. I turn it back to Doug. WT6R, K4RVN in the group.
K4RVN, group WT6R. Yeah. I can see those signals getting like funny. I'm looking at the spectrum scope now. I'm seeing wonderful. You just see the storm, 135 that Bobby mentioned, and us sitting up there around 165, 4, which is probably the other group, maybe a little higher, and somebody else, all in between is nothing but fluid. And so I assume that the shortenings did you use? Did you use shortening like Crisco, or do you use something else? And I have made those hibiscus before, and also I used to make pie crust. And I want to tell you, there is a technique to making that too, as you know. And my wife always said to me, you know, you had to use ice cold water, and when you added a little bit to it, and like you say, you set it in there, and then you know what I mean. Anything that you use before you have to set it in the shortening, you almost want to see a little flex of it, especially if you're using butter or something going through the flour. You don't want to see it be all creamed together like you said. Otherwise, it's going to be like a brick. Yeah. By the way, that 4 BTV, Dwayne, is working well. I've always been impressed by that. I've known a lot of people who have it, and have several of the guys we talked about in this group have. I think there's a 5 BTV and a 9 BTV, depending on if you want to get 80 meters and everything in there. And they always seem to work well. And the other thought that I had is I think I'm going to set, I might have to ask you, Patty, how you do that, but I think I'm going to set an alert on DX Summit for when Bobby posts something. And then I'm going to stalk him. I'm going to come down wherever he's at, and I'm going to holler over his shoulder. Because I know if there's something out there, I'll frequently hear Bobby in the background anyway. So Bobby, you have to watch out over your shoulder, because it's going to be me that you hear over your shoulder. Let me see. Last time I think it went from me to Wayne, and that's where I'm going to go with it now. Let me see here. It's 6 Alpha Fox with the 50.
Roger, QSL. Very fine. That is Whiskey Tango 6 for radio. This is Kilo Delta 6. Well, it's all because of my hustler. I know that. Just kidding. Yeah, you know, when I started in radio, when my dad got me a Swan Fund for 4 BTV, and I didn't use any radio back then. It worked pretty well. But here I am many years later, and living in Sun City, an HOA controlled environment, and I was actually going to get a gap vertical in California, which worked really well. And I was going to get the Challenger because it didn't need radio. And then the local radio club here in Sun City gave me the 4 BTV, so I couldn't beat that price. So that's why I usually get something about even more than radio. So I love from my mom was from England, and so I grew up in Washington called the British Pantry, and they would have scones with currants in them, absolutely delicious. So I'm salivating at the thought that you've made some of those, and just sorry that we're not closer to try some, but it sounds really good. And I'm assuming because of what your ex-your mother-in-law passed away, told you that divulging that if you gave that recipe to Kim, so maybe you shouldn't do that. I don't know if you don't want to have a connection with that. So anyway, hey, I'm going to get back to Patty and Frank. Can you put it down here so I know who you are again. So back to you, Patty. KE7IR, Kilo Delta 6 Alpha Fox Group.
All right, Kilo Delta 6 Alpha Fox, this is KE7IR. And so I don't forget, Bobby's call is Alpha Juliet 4, Echo November, HA4EN. I think you got that, okay?
QSL, thank you.
All right, very good. And good on your mom being British and being familiar with scones. Yes, they are really delicious. I had never had any before marrying into the Donahue family, excuse me, and my mother-in-law was not British. However, oh boy, this could be a very long story. I'm trying to figure out how to shorten it. We have now a cottage in Canada, and so did my mother and father-in-law. That cottage is right next door to mine, and it's currently owned by my sister-in-law and brother-in-law. However, as you may know, there are a lot of people with roots in England living in Canada, and one of my mother-in-law's very dear friends was a lady whose name was Rita Moon, spelled R-E-T-A rather than with the I. And I'm not sure if that's an English spelling or if that's just the way her name was spelled. But at any rate, the recipe came from her. So I think it's fairly authentic in terms of coming from British roots. But that's how my mother-in-law came to receive it. I think she was given it with the instruction of don't give this away. And I'm happy to give it away because both Rita and my mother-in-law, her name was Florence, are angels now, and I know they would not care. So I'll be glad to provide it to anybody who wants it. With that, let me send this over to Frank, K4RVN. This is KE7IR.
KE7IR in the group, K4RVN. Well, I'm going to take a pause and see if anybody else wants to join us. Anybody out there waiting? This is K4RVN, the group, listening for you. Well, I didn't hear anybody. Well, very fine, Patty. Before I forget, Dwayne, I wanted to tell you, my great-grandfather's brother lived right outside of Georgetown, a little town called Evander. And they have a cemetery there called Baghdad City Cemetery. It's a very old cemetery, and half of my ancestors just about are in that cemetery out there near Georgetown. Also, one of my best friends from the U.S. Navy back in the Korean War area lived in Georgetown, and he passed away about 2 years ago. In fact, all my friends passed away just about. I'm not kidding. Anyway, very familiar with that area out there. And a lot of people moving in to the Georgetown, Austin area. And they can have, as far as I'm concerned. I'll tell you what, we got enough crowds here in Atlanta, Dwayne, not running down where you live. I know that's a wonderful place to move to, from what I've read. But Atlanta, it's hard to find anybody in Atlanta that's from Atlanta. In fact, I'm from North Carolina, Dwayne. Everybody here is from somewhere else, just like out there in your area. Anyway, everything's pretty good here. We were supposed to have heavy rain here today. We didn't get it. We got cold weather in the 40s and bright sunshine. So I don't know what happened, but we're supposed to get a winter storm headed down this way with some of the coldest weather of the year. You know, that's in the long-range forecast. I don't know whether they've revised it or not. Anyway, we'll turn it back to you, Doug. And Doug, I hope everything's going well with your tower project. It's still holding together after you worked on it, and it's still rotating. It sure is putting in a signal out here. I didn't give you a report, but you're 22 over. And that's 20 plus 2 red lines, whatever that is. WT6R, K4RVN.
Break.
Is there anybody else out there? I'll talk in just a second.
N0PA is out there.
You can pass it back to me. Go. You said N0PA? That's right, Bobby. Okay, I just want to make sure. I got a WhatsApp message from Australia requesting my presence, so I'm going to try to jump to 20 meters, I reckon. But anyway, it should be here for 135 here, so I'm pushing to make my oil there just a little bit. Anyway, and I hope everybody does well. Like I said, meet up again before Christmas anyway. But if we don't, I want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. With that, I'm going to turn it back over to
Okay, thank you, Bobby. N0PAA. It's 25 degrees here in Kansas, nice and cool, and I haven't been on here for a while. I've been sick, I had a really bad cold off my voice a couple of days, and anyway, looked like this evening there was hardly anything on the band at all, just a few signals, and was watching the show with my wife, and woke me up, asked if Bobby was in bed, and then I could hear Bobby in here talking, so I came in here, and I heard all of you, so it's good to hear everyone, and have a busy day. To Doug, 6TRN0PAA.
He said it was around 17 degrees or something like that. Up in Wyoming, where he lives. Frank, asking about my tower.